Hey there, welcome back. So in this short demo, we will be discussing something around the OData concept and what all the OData query operations we are having. So I hope we are clear on the basics around OData, what is the need for OData services, why all the organizations they are opting OData APIs in their integrations. So just a simple definition about the OData is basically an OData protocol, and this actually follows some REST principles. And if I have to further simplify it, you are having a database within your landscape, and you do not want to give access of your database to a third party or any of the uh, basically consultants or any of the partners. So what you can do, you can expose your data through a services. So OData can help you that. So that is what we can achieve using OData services. So there are certain OData query operations which we are supposed to know being a developer. So we will be discussing those query operations, and I'm not going to go to the basics around the OData services. So how to do this as part of the demo? So what we will do? So there are certain free services are provided for us, which we can leverage for our understanding. So one of the service we are having is provided us to by our provided us by Northern Services basically. So if you see here, this is the URL which you should be having with you. So this gives you a test service where you can do a read write operations. And if you're only interested in the read operations using Northern Services also, you can opt for these two below hyperlinks. But since I am interested in the anti-query operations, where I should be able to query and I should be able to create something through the OData services. So for that, the very first link you have to select. So once you select this, it will take you to a screen where it will provide you a unique URL which will be specific for you. Okay, so this particular string will be added to your hyperlink when you are going to opt for that. That depends from person to person basically. So for me, let's say this is the link which is generated, and now I'm going to use this particular link to start exploring my journey. So for that, what we have to do, we will be launching a test tool called as Postman. So first, what we will do, we will create a blank collection, and let me call it for data, I would say exploration. Okay, so now I don't want to invite anybody, and this OData exploration collection is created. Now I will be adding a couple of requests here. Okay, so let me first start with the very first one. So this is what I am having here. So I will just copy this endpoint and put it over here, and I will just hit enter. So what this is going to get me is it will get me the entire collection of this service. So this particular OData service is having the collections, products, categories, and supplies. Okay. Further, now if I have to see the entire structure of this, so I will be adding dollar meta data, and then I will hit enter. So now it is going to get me the entire structure of the OData services. Let me put it over here so that we can understand it in better way. So here we are having entity type. Okay, so this is the first entity type. The second entity type is category, then supplier, and there are some components complex types, and later there are some associations are created for the navigations and all. And inside this entity container, we are having these three entity sets. Okay, so you can just think that these are the various resources you can access. Okay, so now I am interested in the products. So what I will do, I will just copy this, and I am going to, and you can keep on adding your queries over here, metadata. Okay, now I am going to duplicate this, and I will call it as get products, and I will just copy this entire thing, put it over here, and I will just replace the dollar metadata with the name of the entity, that is that's this name of the entity set products. And when you hit enter, it will get you all the product information. So by default, it is going to generate you the output in the XML format. Okay, so if you see here, this is one product, this is another set of product, and the product ID is 2 over here, the product ID is 3 over here, this is another product, like that. There are multiple products. So OData services, by default, it is going to get you the result in the format of XML by default, but you can change the format in the JSON, and that is what is also recommended as a best practice, because JSON is lightweight. So if you see here, there are a lot of XML tags are added to the response. So how the output for the JSON format will look like. For that, what you have to do, you have to just put a question mark here, okay, and then you need to put a then post this question mark, then you have to add the dollar format equal to JSON. So if you see here, the moment I'm writing over here, automatically this parameter tab will be this highlighted, and here you can add all the query strings actually. Okay, so right now I'm adding a dollar format, and I'm expecting the format to be in the JSON format. So now if you see here, this is what the output we are going to get in the JSON format. Okay, so now if I just compare it with the previous output, you will see it's very lightweight. Okay, so that's the reason this is what is recommended when the mobile devices are also trying to integrate it. They will be expecting the format response format in the JSON. Okay, so this is how you can get the format in the JSON as well. So if you compare it with your SOAP based services, where you can only have the output format in the uh, XML format basically, but here in case of an OData, you can get the output in XML as well as JSON. And what is recommended JSON format is the recommended one. Now, if I need to further write some queries on top of this, so this is my actual output which I have just now received. And if I need to, just one moment. Okay, so this is the output. Now, if I want, wherever the name, okay, so here the name is milk, name is mint soda, same way cola, fruit punch, okay, cranberry juice. So if I need to query based on this name, how can I do that? So for that, what you have to do, you have to use a dollar filter. Okay, so let's try to fetch a record where the name is bread. So what we have to do here, now we have to add here dollar filter. The moment you add, automatically it will start with an ampersand and then followed by the query string dollar filter. And what I'm going to filter, name equal to, and then bread. Okay. So this is how we will be passing it. You can straight away type in the query this particular section as well, where the query is being formed, or you can add it under the params tab. Automatically that string will be added to the anti-query string. So if you see here, now the result is for the name where it is the bread. Now if you want to remove any of the parameter, you can remove it from here as well. Okay, so if you remove it, I do not want the JSON format, so it will get you the result in XML format. So this is also you can control from here. Same way, if I want some based on some other fields, so there are some ratings are also there. Okay, for like 3. Okay, one more 3. So there are multiple ratings with 3. So if I need to write a query to get the rating equal to 3 wherever the rating is equal to 3. So how can I do that? So what I will do, I will just replace this name rating R is capital over here, rating equal to 3. Okay, and send. So you will find all the ratings wherever the ratings are 3. You will find all the records. Okay, same way, some other query strings also you can implement. Let's say we are having the field as name. In some of the name fields, we are getting the length of the characters are more than 4, 5, like that. So if you want to control, if you want all the names where the length is less than 5, okay, where the length is less than 5, I want only those records. So here the length is greater than 5. Okay, if you see here as well. So how can you do that? So for that, again, it will be $filter only. And what we have to do, we have to write length, and then which field length we want to check, name. We want length LT is less than 5. Okay, so if you just hit here, you will find only one of the record which is validating the condition. Same way, if we want, let me remove it. Let me just remove so that we can have an understanding of the entire data set. Okay, so now I am getting all the records. Now, if I want a particular substring out of the name field, so let's say like I'm having name Avenue Cola, or okay, so let's take an example like this, fruit brunch. So if I want all the data where the name contains UI, okay, so wherever the data, wherever the records which is having name, where the name contains the substring with UI, if I want to fetch that, so how can I do that? So I will just remove this, and in place of length, I will replace it with substring of, and then bracket, and then I will put UI, and then I will just close it, and then from where it is going to check, from the name, and then equal to true. So just run it. So you will see we are getting cranberry juice and fruit punch UI. Okay, so this is how we can also do a substring as well. If I want, let's say, all the names which are starting with F, Okay, all the names which are starting with F. So what I have to do, in place of substring, I will replace it with starts with, S should be small, starts with, and then name, what it is going to start with, let's say F. Okay, so, and then we'll just hit enter. Expected position, name, just a moment. It is giving error because we have missed this. Name is not expecting the comma. Just one moment. Comma and this. Yeah. So you will get all the F. So same way, if I want to check for some other character, let's say D. DVD player. Okay. So like that, you can also use the S starts with, same way. If we have anything with, if you want to check any character which is ending with, okay, let's say A. Okay, if I want to check for and with A. So how can I do that? So I will just replace this starts with ends with, and then I will just replace it with A, or let's call it AD. Let's say, do we have anything like that? We're having something with bread, and yeah, bread. So it is ending with A and D. Same way, if I want to count, okay, if I want to count how many records I'm having in products. So if I just run it, I can get, there are various number of entries we are having. So if I want to get a count, and generally this function is used by the mobile applications to check for how many number of records. So you will use $count and enter. So there are 9 records are in the under the products. Same way, if you want the top of the records, okay, again, one more query operation which is being used in the mobile application. So what you have to do, question mark top equal to 2. Okay, I want the top 2, and then $top actually is not, it should be replaced with $top. $top equal to 2. Okay, so if we just press this, and if we just run, and even we want the dollar format is JSON, so that we can have a clarity. Okay, so now it is going to give us 2 records. So this is the first record, ID 0, and then in the second record you will see ID is 1 and the name is milk. Okay, same way, if I want to skip it, okay, if I want to skip something, so I can do that. I will add one more as $skip. Okay, $skip, and I want to skip 2 records from the top. Okay, so now if you ID is 3, and just a moment, I think I should be adding this. And here. I will just delete this. If you do not want any of the query parameter, you can delete it even. So I will just put a dollar format JSON. What is the response we are going to get? Just put it over here. The ID is second and then third, because the IDs are starting with a 0. So, okay, so it has skipped the first two records. So the first record is 0 and the second record is milk, that 1. Then the third record is 2 and the fourth one is Avina Cola. Okay, so this is how it will get you the records if you want to skip it. Now you can also do a filtering on top of it as well. I mean a filtering, sorting as well. Okay, so if you want to sort it, we can also add order by let's say I want to order by based on the price. So same way you will get the results based on the price as well. Okay, I mean it will just do a sorting based on the price as well. Apart from this, we can also get the length. Okay, so we have already seen if you want to check whether the length is greater than or equal to for a particular field, that also you can do it. And we can do a substring, starts with, ends with, and count and dollar top and dollar skip. Basically count and dollar top, dollar skip, you will majorly see is relevant when you are working on the mobile application. If you do not want to check the entire data set, first you will see whether there are some records or not. So using dollar top, you can see, you will come to know that whether there is an entry in the table or not. Okay, so apart from this, so if I just remove all these query string from here, let's say dollar top, dollar, I do not need all of these, so I will just delete even. Okay, and yeah, let the order by be there. And if I just run it, you will see here all the fields are coming. Okay, so it is selecting by default all the fields. So if I do not need uh, all the fields, so right now in our API we are having some handful of fields, that is why we are not bothering. But in typical case, especially in the success factors cases where a single API will have 50 odd number of fields, so ideally you would not be needing all the fields during integrations. So what you can do a select statement. Okay, so same way you can add a dollar select. Okay, so remove it. So dollar select, and what all the field names you want to add. Okay, you just have to select it, like ID, I need ID. Okay, and then I'm interested in the name, and I'm interested in the description, then comma description. If I just, so now you will get on the relevant fields. Okay, so dollars, using dollar select we can do that. And dollar filter we have already seen. So dollar filter is widely being used. And same way we can also get top equal to 3 if I need top 3, dollar top 3. So the same syntax which we have seen with the skip as well. So you can get the top 3 records with the selected fields. Okay, so same way, if I again go back to the initial metadata, so here we have seen there were 3 entity sets were there. So one of them was products. Same way we are having categories and suppliers as well. So if I want to check something around the categories, let's say, so same way I can get all the categories as well. Category name. Here the ID is 0. For ID 0, the name category is food. Wherever the ID is 1, it is coming under the beverages. Like that, we are having multiple categories. Okay. And I will try to do it in a well formatted manner so that we can see. So I will be adding, I should be adding a dollar filter and sorry, dollar format, not filter, because I want to set it in the JSON format so that I can see it in a proper manner rather than struggling to see inside the various tags. Okay, so you will see here there are three IDs basically: ID2, ID1, and ID0. Okay, so but these categories are linked to the these categories are linked to the products as well. Okay, so if I want to check for the product, okay, which are assigned to these categories, so how can we do that? For that, what I have to do, I will just, let's say if I'm interested in category 0, so I will just pass that primary key over here, and if I run it, it will get me the result for category 0. Now I want the categories where, let me first add format, dollar format JSON. Now I'm interested in the products as well. Okay, so I'm interested in the products as well. So how can I do that? How can I get from the same query? So that is where your dollar expand clause comes into picture. So we are actually navigating to some other API as well that is linked to this. And what is that other API? That is products. So if I now run it, so you will find, let me copy this and paste it in a notepad where we can have clear understanding. So if you see here, for the ID 0, we are having the products as well. Okay, same way, if I want to check for some other category, let's say 1. And if I just put it over here, I can see under the beverages, there are so many products are there. Okay, under beverages, we are able to see queries. Okay, so this is how you can do a dollar expand as well. So these were primarily the read operations, you can say. Okay, the get operation. What if you want to add something to the data set? Okay, so right now we are having the categories over here. So again, if I go to the categories and if I have to look for how many categories I'm having, so I'm having 3 categories here: 0, 1, and 2. Okay, the ID is 2. If I want to add a new category to it, let's say I want to add category number 3. Okay, so how can I do that? For that, what you have to do, we'll just copy this. Let me just save it. We'll just duplicate this, the same, and we will replace it with the post operation. Okay, now we are adding a record, or we are adding a category. What you have to do, you have to come to this body and we have to give a record. Okay, so let's say I want to add a new category called as let's say test category. Okay, for our understanding. So we'll just copy this. We'll just put it over here. So you have to give the request payload, which you want to be added as part of a new feed inside the category API. So I want to add a new ID with 3, and let's call it as learning stuff. Okay, and we'll just send it. So the moment you push it, you will get a response as 201, means it is successfully created. Now, if I come to the again this one, and if I just try to get it, so you were able to see the addition which you have just done, that is already part of the feed now. There is a new entry you can see as part of your response now. So this is how you can do a post operation as well. Same way, if I want to, let's say I want to change this, the name I want to change it. So for that, what I have to do, I need to update it. So what I will do, I will just quickly duplicate it, and in place of post, I will just change the operation to post. And here now what changes I have to do, I have to give the ID, this ID number I need to provide over here. The ID is 3, the third ID which I want to replace it, and let me just change. Okay, so ID 3 I want to change it, so I'm using the put operation, and I will just send it. So here this time you have got a response as 204. In previous one we have got 201. Now here we have got 204. So if I again go back and look for the record, so here you will see learning change. Okay, same way, if I do not want the any of the category to be available, what we can do, I can also delete it. Okay, so first let me add one more category, let's say category 4, and we'll just call it as dummy category, and we'll just send it. So here you will find the 201 is means it's created. We'll just check for the records. So now we are having category 4 as well, the dummy cat, and category 3 is also there. Okay, now I do not want this category to be there. What I will do, I will just let me just duplicate this as well, and I will just replace it with the delete. And you need to change these whenever you're going to save these queries, you have to give some meaningful names actually. Okay, so let me call it delete category. Okay, here now I need to use a post operation, save. This is put operation. Here and change category. I will just put create category. So you should be providing some meaningful description so that you can use it later as part of your reference. So now in case of delete, what you have to do, so in case of delete, in case of a delete, you have to give same way the put, you have given the ID. So here we have to provide the ID as well. So we just have to provide the ID, and you do not need any body as such. Okay, you just have to provide the ID and just send it. So you will get a 204 response. I will just save it, and I will again go and look for the category. Get category. Okay, so now if I just send it, I should not be having the fourth one. Okay, so now if you see here, it is having only 3 IDs. The fourth one just now, which we have created, that is deleted. So this is how you can run the query operations using the Postman. I hope you have found this small recording useful. Thank you so much.